I often get asked, what are the early wins? What are the first things that I should do? Or what are the quick wins? How can I get a quick return on my efforts? Now, my standard response, of course, is to say, well, you need to take a step back. This is a long-term business and you need to plan yourself. That being said, there are a couple of things in particular which I believe can help you immediately, help you to progress faster, and can help you actually in any business. And the first thing that I'd recommend that you look at is something that we refer to in part 5, which is developing a compelling value proposition. And the fundamental of developing a compelling value proposition is to understand your customer. So that means developing an in-depth understanding of your customer's industry, the market context, all those factors relating to their business, and then boiling it down into understanding them as a buyer. So here the exercise is to really be very clear about who the business people are who are driving the decision making for the kind of value proposition that you can offer. So in any organization, there may be one person, a couple of people, or several people. What I'm looking for here is understanding who the key business decision driver is, and then repeating this exercise for the others. And with this person in mind is to start profiling them and really get to understand their persona. And one approach to this, which I find extremely useful, and there are many approaches to developing personas and profiles. This is one of them, and it's a design thinking based approach using the value proposition canvas by a company called Strategizer, is to understand first of all the jobs to be done of your decision maker, followed up by digging into the pains or challenges that they face today, and finally looking at the gains or benefits that they may be wishing for in their current situation. Mapped to this then is you start developing your value proposition. So if this is all about the customer on this side, this is all about us and our value proposition on this side. And here, what we create here is a mapping against the persona profile that we've just developed. We put in here the things that can help them to resolve their pains, and we put in here the things that can help them create the gains to deliver on those benefits. Now, one observation: a lot of us, people like me and a lot of us in this industry have grown up being extremely proud of our products and our technology. In the case of a business decision maker, we need to really think carefully about the language that we use, because if I put myself in the shoes of a business decision maker, I may not care in the least about the technology or the products that you use to enable that outcome that I'm looking for. So this outcome over here that I'm looking for, I may not care what technology or product that you're using. I only care that you deliver the outcome. So it's super important to understand your persona to that extent that you're able to match their language. And in fact, I'd recommend to you that certainly in the first time or the first exercise you do this is don't use any brand names, any technology names, any buzzwords, any product names. And that's to force, again, people like me who've grown up in this world being so used to talking product and technology, is to force us to use the business language. Now, when we've got that business value proposition down, and we can develop this, by bringing in colleagues and friends and customers and partners, and we can really do a whole lot of work around developing our value proposition. Once we've got our business value proposition right, then we consider if any of these terms can actually add value to that value proposition. Of course, the other thing that we need to keep in mind is a customer's needs in terms of information change during the sales process. So they may not be interested in understanding the technology or technology provided at the very beginning, but that might suddenly become very important at the end of an engagement process. So it's not about never using brand names and technology names and product names. It's about being understanding when using information about brand, technology, and product is going to add value. This is something that can help us immediately in our existing business or in our new businesses, and it goes straight into helping us to execute more effectively on lead generation and, of course, finally, customer acquisition. The second thing that I'd like to mention as an early or quick win is this factor of customer lifetime value or customers for life. Now, in any business, all of us set out in business to keep our customers happy, right? And in the recurring revenue business, of course, this is pivotal on us driving our success. You could say that the single role that we have that's most important in achieving our profitability as a business is going to be the role that keeps our customers. So taking customers for life and looking at customers for life from the very beginning of the customer life cycle is extremely important. So from throughout that acquisition, delivery, value realization, and continuous engagement life cycle, the whole thought process, the whole mentality is extremely important. I think that the way that a company succeeds best is to align their business strategy, and the way that these roles are executed is best done when the strategy and the role are aligned. So align role with the business strategy. So, for example, if you are a business who are very innovative and you're known for driving innovation, for example, in a manufacturing sector, then align the skill set of this role with driving innovation in manufacturing. So it is completely aligned with your core values, your core business. And the next thing is to ensure that the behavior in this role is one which is proactive. So proactively driving value. So value-based. Value is at the center of everything that we do. Creating the value for the customer, ensuring that the value acquired has been delivered. Creating new value for the customer, and of course, as a consequence, earning the right to sell more and create more value for ourselves. So you could summarize, the value creation in terms of, adopting what they've already bought, creating a roadmap and delivering on incremental value over time, and as a consequence, upselling and cross-selling and generating more value, revenues, and profitability for us. The value proposition above helps us to do something else which enables this to happen, which is to package our value proposition into something that is perhaps can be more streamlined for accessing certain markets, where we can articulate our value propositions very effectively into a marketplace, but it also gives us the opportunity to build into a package an approach for landing and expanding. So, for example, one part of this package may be the element that we land with the next element of the package being the thing that we expand with, and so on. And so on. So landing and expanding, which of course already pre-planned, provides us with a roadmap for incremental value creation with the customer. And the final thing that I'd like to say is, coming back to aligning this role with the business and aligning the role throughout the business life cycle. What we need to do is to learn. We need to take the experience from successful customers and what we did to make those customers successful, and to build it back into the life cycle from the very beginning. That means from the very beginning of understanding the customer persona, from creating those value propositions, from designing those packages, from creating the promises that we make during the sales process, through to the whole delivery and so on. So it is the most important, in my opinion, thing that we need to do in terms of driving our success as a business. And it's all about keeping the customers for life, pushing the limits of our understanding, and using that learning throughout the customer life cycle.